Welcome to the TMS History Pages Unit 1 discussion part 4. Hopefully this is the last part of the whole Unit 1 for the 7th grade, guys. This is the 7th grade Unit 4, Unit 1 part 4 discussion. If you're in the 8th grade, click to another video quickly, soon, now, go. 8th graders gone. 7th graders, here we go. The South America. Here's the setup again. We started with this and I kind of bumbled along as I sometimes do when I'm trying to talk fast and record everything that I need to record all in a few short minutes. But here we go, the setup. The Incas and the Aztecs ruled South America. Very, very powerful empires. Very powerful empires. Before the Spanish come, and when the Spanish come, they're going to get wiped out by not only technology and warfare, but they're going to get wiped out by chemical warfare and biological warfare, which is the smallpox. The smallpox are going to weaken the Incas and the Aztecs to the point that the conquistadors basically have to just march into their villages, and the Incas and the Aztecs subject to the conquistadors. It's that powerful. It's that deadly. Alright, so the technology, the Spanish finishes them off. Now, guys, the 3 G's. You're going to need to know these things. You're going to know these things backwards and forwards. I think I said that as I ran through the study guide with you guys. The gold, God, and glory. Okay, Spain, first of all, gold. Spain needs gold to fight the wars in Europe. They're constantly fighting in Europe. During this whole period of time, there's constant fighting. Wars spark up, they calm down, they spark up again, they calm down. They try new wars, different countries fight different countries. And the idea here is that the more money you have, the bigger army you have. The bigger army you have, the more land you can conquer. The more land you can conquer, the more resources you can have, the more people you control. Alright? And suddenly we have these new worlds, this North America, this South America, this Central America that has gold. And so everybody is clamoring for that here in the New World. Everybody is clamoring for that here in the New World. And so gold is one of the reasons that Spain and the conquistadors take off to the New World, and they're going to corner the market, guys. They're going to get the market cornered on the gold trade, on the gold world. All right, so then you got gold, then you've got God, and the idea here is that they're going to try to convert the native peoples to Catholicism. The Catholic Church has taken a big hit with this Protestant Reformation, or is about to take a big hit with the Protestant Reformation, and they need new people to come to the church. New people coming to the church means more money. More money means the church is more powerful. And then glory. Guys, these conquistadors got personal glory if they brought back gold and God to and brought in new people. Okay? And it says go to the new people. It should be God to the new people. You got famous by doing something like what Francisco Balboa does, or what Christopher Columbus does, or Ferdinand Magellan does. You became hugely famous. These people were the first kind of rock star type people. You know, you never had to want for anything after you became a famous conquistador or a famous navigator. Alright, so we're going to start with the Aztecs here. The Aztecs were a people of certain ethnic groups in central Mexico who dominated large parts of the Mesoamerica from the 14th to the 16th centuries. Guys, 2 centuries the Aztecs built this huge empire, this vast empire, this very powerful empire for 2 centuries. And then as we get further along into talking to the Aztecs, these guys are going to be ruined within years. Alright, 2 centuries worth of work by the Aztec is going to be ruined by 2 years worth of exposure to the conquistadors. Alright, so you've got your capital city there. There's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce that correctly, so we're just going to say the capital is the center, the headquarters of these Aztec kings. And guys, these kings are merciless. They are bloodthirsty. They pass down these religious decrees and this constant human sacrificing. There's stories about when people find Aztec pyramids for the first time, they thought originally that they had painted the pyramids red, and they did samples of the stone, and they found out that the further you dig into the stone, the more it looks actually like stone. And then they started doing testing on the paint. They thought they were testing the paint, but what they find out is blood, and that blood had been soaked in from just near constant human sacrificing by these Aztec kings, and you stepped out of line, you were liable to be dead. These guys were powerful, bloodthirsty, heathenistic, these just heathenistic people. But the thing is too, guys, is that for all their bloodthirstiness and all their cruelty and deprivation, they actually had a written language. They have scientists. They have universities. They have what we sometimes remember as the Aztec calendar, which predicted that the world was going to end in, I think, 2012. I don't think it ended in 2012. We could be in an alternate universe here, but I don't think so. But these Aztecs, they get this reputation as being extremely bloodthirsty and extremely cruel and extremely heathenistic, but they actually were very enlightened, very intelligent people, very good at engineering. Their capital city was founded in a lake and on top of a volcano, and the whole city floated. You see a picture here. The whole city floated on this lake, and it's something, I think, somewhere around the neighborhood of 10 or 12 square miles worth of floating city. All right, and at the height of the Aztecs, you're going to look at 20,000 people. 20,000 people to live in an empire, okay, that does not have cars, does not have trains, does not have modern technology. 20,000 people held together by these kings, these Aztec kings that are known for their bloodthirstiness. Now, onto the scene comes this guy, Conquistador Hernan Cortez. Okay, and Cortez comes along, and he makes the first he's the first Spanish conquistador to make contact with the Aztecs, and he is presumably looking for the treasures of the Aztecs. Now, what is he really doing? He's looking to take the Aztecs' gold. He thinks that what people think is that Cortez is just going to show up, and the Aztecs are going to love him, and they're just going to hand him over. He's going to kill him. Guys, he's there to kill the Aztecs and take their gold. For what? The Spanish. And the Spanish are going to use that gold to fight their wars in Europe. But it took Cortez 2 years, guys, 2 years to basically reduce the Aztecs to slaves. 2 centuries to build up the Aztec Empire, two years to knock it down. And why did this happen? Primarily through disease. Primarily through some political infighting. Cortez would come in and he would pit political leaders against each other, and they would kill each other off. Now, guys, we've talked a little bit about Shakespeare. Shakespeare talks about political infighting. This is right out of a Shakespearean novel, guys. Shakespeare would have loved to have been there to watch Hernan Cortez pit these guys against each other. And then the other big thing is the disease, and we talked about this earlier. The diseases that the Europeans had an immunity to are going to be wiped out, or wiping out the Aztecs. And the biggest thing there is, guys, they did it on purpose. They would give the Aztecs diseases on purpose. They would make sure that the Aztecs were exposed to these diseases in kind of a biological warfare, and it was free, it was cheap, it was easy to do. They easily killed off the Aztecs just by diseases. And then the last domino falls. Once the Aztecs were so crippled by diseases and political infighting, it took only a few handfuls of explorers to kill off the rest, and that basically crushes the Aztec. Sorry, there I yawned. It basically crushes the Aztec Empire, is the technology. And guys, this is going to be the way things go for a long time, and it's the way things still go to this day. Technology is going to conquer native peoples. Technology and diseases will conquer native peoples. So if you have the technology, or in this case if you have the gold to buy the technology, you can crush native peoples. And it's like this in Asia, it's like this in Africa, it's like this even in Australia, it's like this here in America. When you get to American history, we're going to talk about how technology conquers the native peoples of America. It's the same thing. Now let's move on before we get too far stuck on this. The Incas, okay? The big thing with the Incas is the steppe farming. The steppe farming was designed to maximize the land that the Incas controlled. It was to maximize the land that the Incas controlled. Now, when I taught this in Virginia and Tennessee, this was pretty easy to understand because we had something similar to this to some degree. We basically, our hills were not quite as steep as the Incas and the Aztecs, but it's still the same principle. You've got hills, and it's hard to grow things on a hill. Here in Thomasville and there maybe in Durham, it's not as easy to understand this, but here you go, the step farming. Because there was no flat land to farm, the Incas carved these flat places into the mountains. They would carve a flat place into the mountains, and they would do it in steps. And what the deal was is that irrigations allowed the rainwater to flow down the mountains without flooding out these little flat places, because ideally, you build one flat place, it floods, you can't grow anything. So you'd build another flat place and another flat place and another flat place, and at the bottom the soil would be the most nutrient rich, and you would grow things there. The top view you wouldn't necessarily grow as much. But this, guys, is the idea that humans are going to adapt. They're going to overcome. They're going to figure things out to make things work where they live. That's kind of a big picture way of looking at this, but step farming, guys, is a pretty big deal. And you see a picture of it here as I scroll down and as we run out of time. So there's your step farming. Flat lands, growing, and you could grow on these things. Now, Pizarro. Francisco Pizarro comes in, and he is kind of the last conquistador, maybe the most powerful conquistador, and he comes looking for the presumed treasures of the Aztecs. Basically, he's going to kill off the Aztecs too, and take care of them. Excuse me, the Incas. It says the Aztecs there. He's going to look for the Incas, and again, the Incas are weakened by smallpox and the civil wars among the tribes. The Spanish were adept at coming in, splitting up a tribe. Pizarro did it with the Incas. Cortez did it with the Aztecs. Split them up, kill them off, and then eventually all you got to do is come in with a few swords, a few rifles, and knock them over the rest of the way. And what he does here is he says he's going to be a diplomat, captures the Incan king, and holds him ransom. When they pay him his ransom, he kills the king anyway and replaces him with a political puppet. Now, this is pretty conniving, but again, guys, this is Shakespearean. It's a Shakespearean novel in its essence. It's the idea of political intrigue, disease, murder, wealth, all these fun things that you have to deal with. Guys, I believe... Nope, we got a little bit more. The mercantilism, real fast, mercantilism is the idea that the old world country is going to make money off the new world country. And we've talked a lot about this. They're going to control the trade. Basically, they're going to control trade with the new world to the old world. The old world country is going to make money off of the new world country, or the new world colony. They're going to make money. They're going to control the trade. They're going to control prices. The new world is going to provide the resources. The old world is going to take those resources and make the money. And then here we go, guys, the slave trade. The Spanish ineptly killed off all of their major form of labor, and so they're going to need to bring in slaves, and that's going to set up a triangular trade. That's going to set up this idea with the link of Africa, the new world, and the old world, which is triangular trade. Alright, and we've gone over this in earlier discussions. We'll go over it again real quickly because we're kind of running out of time. Raw materials, or excuse me, finished materials sent to Africa. Slaves sent to the Americas to grow the raw materials, and then the raw materials sent to Europe to be finished. Finished goods again come to Africa to buy the slaves. Slaves go to the New World to grow those raw materials. Those raw materials are sent to Europe to be finished. Guys, I got about 40 seconds. This has been the Unit 1 discussion. This is Part 4. We're done. Thanks for playing along, guys. Unit 1, 7th grade discussion, Part 4. You should be ready to go for your test. Good luck. Thanks for playing.